Hey everyone. Hey, I'm Dustin, joined by Patrick here, my boss and vice president of product at Wiiisdom. Hey,
How
good
you doing,
morning, good
Dustin?
afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're coming from. Thrilled that you decided to spend some time with us. We're super excited about this. This is the very first time that we have done an event like this. So we're going to be walking through, we'll give a little bit of a 101 on what Wiiisdom is. We're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to walk you through some of the new functionality we've added to Wiiisdom. Give a little bit of a 101 too on how Wiiisdom works. But also too, if you're joining, you're going to want to stay till the end because we are going to have a giveaway. We're going to give you this book. Get it in the camera here. Yep, other way, Patrick.
That's it.
How to measure anything. We want you to be able to do a good job of measuring the most important things in your business. So we are going to give that away. Looks like some folks are coming in. I'm going to start sharing my screen here, but as I get that set up, please do introduce yourself in the comments. We do always love to know where you're coming from. And also, this is going to be an interactive session, so we definitely want to hear your questions, your feedback on our product. We take feedback from our users and use that to help shape our roadmap. So we want to do these events every quarter at least. Get your feedback, hear your questions on our tool. That is what we are here for. All right, let me open this up. Quick disclaimer on our product roadmap. You can read all that later if you'd like to go back to it. Also, too, this event is being, recorded. You can watch it on our company page afterwards. We'll also be sending out some slides afterwards to those who registered. But just going to do a quick rundown of the agenda, and then we'll introduce ourselves. Going to turn it over to Patrick quickly. Hello to a lot of the people coming in. Again, please do say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. We would love to know who all is here and where you're at.
Love to
Go
love
ahead.
to see the scene. We have Northern California, Phoenix, Arizona, France. Hello, Kevin. Kevin is a colleague of ours, but still we can say hello anyway. Lots of people from different countries. Excellent.
Very cool.
Sagar. We're from Sagar.
Keep it coming for sure. So I know there's more joining. There's
Hey,
Danielle.
Hello, Danielle.
Yeah, this is awesome. Love to see who's here. So keep that coming in the chat. Also, please, can't emphasize it enough. Ask questions. Give us your feedback. We'll try to address as much as we can. We save some time at the end, and also to stay till the end because we're going to do a live giveaway of this book. So we're going to talk about new features that we released at TC 2023. A lot of you saw us out there. It was cool to meet with many of you. We'll talk about that later. Also going to do some updates on what's coming next in our product. And then we're going to do a little demo. Again, since it's our first time, we'll give a little 101 on some of the functionality in Wiiisdom. We're going to use an applied use case, see how Wiiisdom works with that, and keep this open forum going of suggestions, feedback, questions. Do a giveaway at the end. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to Patrick, who he's got a Montreal hat on. It looks like. I don't think you're in Montreal though. You want to talk about where you're from?
Yes. Hey, thanks, Dustin. For excellent intro as always. I'm Patrick. I'm a VP product here at Wiiisdom. But no, although I'm from Montreal, the accent you hear is not French from France, but from Montreal. Yes, I'm based in central London in the UK. And Dustin and I have traveled a lot this year. On company private events. We met in New York, for instance. That was awesome. But we've done a lot of Tableau events. I personally went to quite a few tugs and other events in London. I went to the Tableau office in Antwerp in Belgium, which was really awesome. Of course, if you have not heard, we were at TC. We were about 16 of us at TC with a massive stand, and Dustin will talk about that. But definitely hard work, but we played really hard as well, which is always the way it should be. And I was lucky to meet Andy Cudgrave at the London Gartner event as well. So yeah, lots of traveling, meeting lots of nice people, spreading the message of what Wiiisdom is, which is always really awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I just wanted to bring up, I can't see who it's from. It's from LinkedIn user, but someone here really loves Tableau. I don't know if we met him out at TC, but I love this kind of comment. We love it too. I've been using So I get to my introduction. I've been using Tableau for over 10 years. So I was fortunate enough to get introduced to it back in 2013, which was quite a while ago in Tableau years, I suppose. But I've been busy this year as well. I am product manager for this product we're talking about here, Wiiisdom Ops for Tableau. And we'll get into more of that in a few minutes. But been busy as well, like Patrick said, doing some traveling with him and also on my own. But I'm based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so we got a 6-hour time difference here. We tried to get this at a good time. It's always hard to coordinate, but it's 10 a.m. here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I'm at. It's 4 p.m., a little after by Patrick, but I'm from Wisconsin, so just to address the elephant in the room for those that don't live here, yes, I like cheese. Yes, I like the Packers. All of those good things. But I'm in Milwaukee. I attend a lot of events in the area. I'm attending one downtown later this evening. So I love analytics, live, sleep, eat, and breathe it. And I love to attend tugs too in southeastern Wisconsin and really all over. I might be going to one, in London later this year. We'll see. But I was at the Madison, Wisconsin tug last week. I'm a frequent attender of the Milwaukee Tug as well. Those have been super instrumental in my career. So definitely, if you haven't gone to one, I highly recommend it. Big part of my career development. Also, I like to attend lots of virtual events, host events like this. It's fun to be doing this for Wiiisdom. And then, as Patrick mentioned, we've been traveling all over the place. We were out at TC with a lot of us from Wiiisdom, which was a blast. And we're going to talk about what we were doing there later in the presentation here. And then I was also out at another national conference a few weeks ago. You can see there, I guess someone took this picture of me. I don't know what I was doing, but it looks like I'm deep in thought, cracking some challenge here. But yeah, we love data and we love traveling around all the different events locally and outside of our local areas. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Patrick that's going to talk a little bit about Wiiisdom as a company.
Just a few words about Wiiisdom before Dustin jumps into some roadmap items and demos. Now, at Wiiisdom, what we do is actually quite simple. We want to resolve the elephant in the room, right? The data quality problems that you have inside your analytics. And we've been doing this for a very long time, for 15 years, actually. We started with SAP Business Objects. About 3 years ago, we started doing it for Tableau. And we are going to start real soon with Power BI. But today, let's focus on Tableau. Now, the problem we try to resolve is very simple. And you've been in this position before, for sure, right? You're an end user. You go into a meeting and you need data to, do your thing in a meeting. First thing you know, you open this report or this spreadsheet or this, I hope, Tableau workbook, and then here we go. It doesn't open, the data doesn't refresh, some value is wrong, and you know it's wrong, and you contact, whoever it is, and this person says, sorry, that thing will take more than 30 minutes to resolve. You're kind of on your own here. And Dustin, I think you can relate to that. You told me this happened to you before.
Yes, for sure. Yes. No, Patrick's not throwing me under the bus here. I admitted to it. To him, I admitted to it at Tableau conference on stage in front of 230 people, I think we had or whatever. But absolutely. I mean, from, entry-level analyst using Tableau to, kind of a senior leader in an organization using Tableau, these conversations happen. They're inevitable, or at least so I thought. I was a little, if you attended our presentation at TC, you hear me say I was a little bit embarrassed to not know that Wiiisdom existed because these conversations are in fact, preventable. But let us know in the comments too, like, does this resonate with you? I put out a LinkedIn post with a dialogue like this a few days ago, and it seemed to really sink in and resonate with folks. So let us know if I'm not the only one or Patrick's not the only one that's had this happen.
So the problem is, maybe you find the problem before the meeting, which would be great. But even worse is you're the data leader, right? You're the person who built that data layer, that workbook, and somebody calls you and you're the one receiving a phone call saying that it's wrong. So how do we resolve this problem at Wiiisdom? It's simple. Or how do you resolve this problem? Altogether, it's testing, right? The more you test, the more your things will be robust or with the right data. Now, testing takes time. Testing is manual. and you cannot just test everything. It's impossible. And this is how we resolve this problem at Wiiisdom. We're just saying, listen, test all the time. And how do you do that? Automate your BI testing. And if you do that, you test during your development, you test after you're promoted, you continue to monitor, so regular testing when you're live, you'll catch the errors before anybody, you will build trust, you will build internal adoption, right? Your internal users will just end up using Tableau even more. And then you'll have a better data culture and analytics. So that's it. Very simple problem, very simple solution. We're here to put everything all together.
For sure.
Now, like I said before, we've been doing this for a very long time. If you have not heard of Wiiisdom before, maybe you've heard of GB and Smiths. That was our old name from 15 years ago, started in the north of France. And we've been doing SAP Business Objects for a very long time. And 3 years ago, we finally made it multi-analytics. We wanted to do this for a very long time. So we got into Tableau, and we can now do testing, like I said before, and quality. For Tableau, we call that Analytics Ops. And we've been scaling crazy quickly and big since late last year. We've hired tons of new people, one right here in front of me, Dustin. So we've hired a lot of awesome people from the Tableau world, some of them even ex-Tableau employee on all the different teams that we have here at Wiiisdom. We have a new partner program, so we have now new partners who've joined the ecosystem, which is great. And this is a nice segue for all the awesome innovations that we are releasing these days. So yeah, we're scaling quickly and big. And if any of you are interested in joining the team, go on the website. We have a career page.
Yeah, there definitely are positions open. And
not only in the US, internationally, of course, yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All over. And just being one of these new people, I can say that, over the last several months, as I traveled around to some of these events that we showed earlier, I mean, folks are really asking about this. I mean, they're seeing all the announcements and all the folks being added. They're seeing the new stuff we're coming out with, new partners bringing on board. Folks are asking me at like every single event I go to, they're like, what's going on with this Wiiisdom? Like, seems like you guys are really making a big investment. Indeed, we are. And that's part of the reason why we're all here today. So exciting stuff. And thanks, Patrick, for that.
Now, I'm not going to put you under the bus and ask you live without preparation what the 3 eyes of the Wiiisdoms are. We can keep that for the next one.
Well, if you're not throwing me under the bus, then I think you can actually give that one.
It's, if you test a lot and you have confidence in your content, you have trust and you have wisdom. And then if you test a lot, you have 3 times the wisdom. It's not true. If our head of marketing is listening, I did not do a good job, but it's 3 times. It's 3 times the wisdom. Okay.
Love it. I've been getting a lot of jokes too of folks asking me if I'm wiser with 3 eyes, or all kinds of plays that can be done on the 3 eyes, and I've been hearing quite a few of them. I expect that to continue, but remember the 3 eyes.
We'll keep the mystery for next time.
We'll keep the mystery for there you go. I love it. Or if you have an idea of what they could stand for, let us know in the chat. But before I get on to talking about Tableau Conference and some of the product stuff that we released there, did want to remind everyone that's joining the chat, that's joined it since we first opened, please do introduce yourself. We want to know where you're at. We'd love to see who you are, who's attending the event. Also, please do remember to stay until the end because we're going to do a giveaway of this book, How to Measure Anything. We want you to be doing the best job you can in measuring things in your business. That's part of the reason why Wiiisdom is here, is to make sure that not only are you measuring, delivering insights, but also that they are accurate and trusted. So we're going to do that giveaway at the end, give instructions on how to enter. It's going to be super easy. You can do it right in the chat, but please say hello. And then as we go through some of the product demo stuff, feel free to ask questions, give us your feedback, let us know what you think would be helpful, what's not. We want these events every quarter at least to be, 2 directions. We want to get feedback on our product from those that use it, that think they might use it. Let us know what you think. Would love to hear from you, and that's what we're here for. So Tableau Conference 2023, there's someone from New York City. Keep letting us know. Folks are coming from all over. Let us know where you're coming from in the world. So Tableau Conference 2023, we had a very fun, as Patrick said. We played hard, but we also had a very busy few days. And we did literally hundreds of demos out in Data Village. So we had our booth. You can see us on the left-hand side of the slide there. Some of the team. That was actually taken. That was a calm before the storm picture. That was taken probably 10 or 15 minutes before Data Village opened on the first day. And gosh, did we have a lot of traffic to the booth. We had, like I say, hundreds of folks come through that we gave demos to on the screen that's behind us there. And got tons of great feedback. I think excited a lot of people about the potential. I heard that in a lot of the conversations. And we also went on stage too. So in the center there, you've probably seen some of us post pictures from our presentation, but we had a session that was actually completely full, standing room only, where we did a fun skit, of what that situation that Patrick showed earlier might look like, how that might play out in an organization where you've got a boss kind of asking an analyst, hey, what's up with this issue in the dashboard? And then how the analyst kind of scrambles to respond. And then, how there's a better way and a more scalable way to address and prevent issues like that. So it was really fun session. We had some great feedback. A lot of people after the session came to our booth and we gave lots more demos. So that was cool. But we love seeing the crowd that was on the right. That was just so cool for us to look out and see a full house. So that was us at Tableau Conference 2023. Very busy, very fun few days. We did release some pretty cool new stuff in our product out there. So we had a really good product that we took out there, but we wanted to put out some stuff that we thought would be fun to release at the conference, and definitely intuitive to Tableau attendees, Tableau users at the conference. So one of the things that we released was the ability to automatically certify data sources. So if you're using data source certification in Tableau, you can actually use Wiiisdom to automate the process of certifying or decertifying your data sources in Tableau. And I'm going to show you in a second how this works in our tool. We also put out a pre-built dashboard. So, since we're doing testing on Tableau dashboards, the people using our product are Tableau users. And we thought, what? Why not give our users a pre-built dashboard that they can use to take the data from all the tests that they're running in Wiiisdom and actually visualize it and see when errors are recurring in their dashboards, what views they're occurring on, the data sources that are impacted, things like this. So I'll show you that as well. That was a big hit in our booth. And then we also released something totally new that we're doing now. We created a playlist from our product team on YouTube where we're going to actually be releasing, and we released videos on all of our new functionality that released at Tableau Conference. We're going to be releasing videos on every new piece of functionality that we release going forward. And we will include links to those short tutorial videos within our product starting in future releases. So some pretty cool stuff here. I'm going to actually duck out of presentation mode and open up Wiiisdom. Patrick, as I do that, feel free to chime in on anything I just talked about.
Yeah, the certified data sources was definitely a big hit, but the dashboard, what is really cool with the dashboard, and Dustin will come back to that, is not only the people testing stuff can see in one central place, the result of their tests, but you could even say that the people consuming those dashboards, if they're wondering, hey, before I go to my meeting, when's the last time this thing's been tested? Oh, it's been tested successfully yesterday. Well, then I can trust this thing. Oh, last time it was tested is maybe 3 months ago. Well, not so sure anymore. So Dustin will come back to that. I think I filled the blank. Over to you, Dustin.
Yes, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to take every opportunity that I can just to highlight some of the folks that are here. So we have Charmaine coming from Atlanta. We have someone from Canada.
Yes, good. Canada, yeah. Montreal Canadians. I don't know where you're from.
Yes, you've got a friend with Patrick here for sure. Thank you, Esther, for joining. And then we have Ankita from India. So we have folks. It's really cool to see folks from all over the world attending. I'm glad we were able to find a time slot that could accommodate so many folks. Do want to share with you the dashboard that I'm going to run this first demo on first. So kind of start at the bare bones here. Since this is our first event doing this, yes, we want to focus on new product enhancements, new releases, get your feedback on them, get your feedback on what we should do next from an enhancement standpoint. But we do want to kind of give a 101 here, especially with this first meeting. We'll probably do that for the next couple events that we do. But many of you have KPI dashboards out there. They might look something like what I have up here. This sample KPI dashboard uses Tableau's Superstore data set. It's kind of, if you're not familiar, I see someone's just getting started with Tableau. It's kind of a sample set of data that Tableau puts out there for folks to use to practice. So we have a KPI dashboard. This might look similar to a KPI dashboard you have in your business. And what I'm going to do is switch over to, this is out on our Tableau cloud. Now this could be on your Tableau server or Tableau cloud. Wiiisdom works with both. I'm going to open up Wiiisdom and I'm going to show you how we can do some tests that on user experience and functional elements within this dashboard. And then after I do that, I'm going to show you how we could do some accuracy testing, test for the data accuracy in a dashboard as well. And then I'll show you how this kind of comes together with our new feature we just released, data source certification, where you can see, okay, I can put together a series of tests, and then I can automatically certify my data source if indeed those tests pass. So that's the goal of what we want to look at here. All right, so I'm going to switch over to Wiiisdom. This is our tool that I'm in right now, and I have a test set up over here. I've already set this one up, and what this test is going to do is, you see there's a list of tasks right here. These are kind of mini tests that are going to take place, if you will, within the context of this broader test. So these are all individual tasks that I want to run within this test. And these are all going to test for different things. All right. And what this first one, OpenViz, does is I've selected that dashboard. I've gone in, I've hit search, and I've selected this dashboard that I just showed you as the dashboard that I want to test just first to see if it opens. Okay, pass or fail. Does it open? And then I've set up a series of subsequent tasks here that the tool is going to run through. And these are just some basic things for the sake of this demo. There's tons of tasks in here. We could spend quite a bit of time going through all of them, but we just want to show you kind of that core 101 functionality here. This first task that I've set up is going to tell me whether or not the segment filter that you saw on my dashboard, I'm going to open up my dashboard again. So it's going to tell me when it opens up that visualization through the first task, are all of these values selected? That's in concept what I have set up in this first task. And then in my next few tasks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Wiiisdom test if it can set the filter to the first value that was in there, consumer, the next one, corporate, and the next one, home office. So again, let's go back and just take a look at the dashboard. What Wiiisdom is going to do is to select consumer, corporate, and home office. Then we're going to go and we're going to select all of those again, make sure we can do that successfully. And then just for example's sake, we're going to test at the end whether or not a certain state can be selected in the map. Let's hypothetically consider the fact that Texas should always have some data loaded into it. We should always be able to click on Texas. That's something that's important to us. Now, you could think of all kinds of permutations here, all kinds of things you would want to test for. Do we always want to make sure there's a certain customer name? Do we always want to make sure that the dashboard opens to a default ship mode? So on and so forth. Literally, unlimited permutations. But I just want to show you some basics to demonstrate the functionality. Go ahead, Patrick.
Just before you run this, so for people watching, think of when you are asked to test a report, right? You will go and find it, you'll open it, you'll wait for the report to open, and then you will visually check, oh, right, my filters are all there with the correct default values. And then I'm going to click on some filters to make sure that they really work. And then I'll click on maps and, think of the time it takes for you to do this, where in reality, you would want to do that as often as possible, like we said before, to find problems before other people's do. Now, Dustin, before you run it, last question. And be careful with the answer. There's some customers on the presentation today. How long did it take you to create that test here? Which is no code, by the way, people. Just clicking.
Yep. No code. Yeah, no, I mean, I would say it took to set up each one of these tasks, probably 30 seconds or less.
So that one, some of them will take you longer, right?
Yeah.
Some databases one, but a user experience test will take you, let's say, seconds to 2 minutes. And when it's done, all you have to do, Dustin, show us the
Yes, for
magic.
sure. Yes. All right. And I also can't wait to show in the reports too how we really do get a feel for the user experience. We capture the amount of time it takes to actually perform each of these steps too. But let's run the test, and you're going to actually see Wiiisdom's going to start to go through and run each of these tasks. And as it does that, it's actually going to take control of our browser. And I'm going to pull it over. Here it is. Oh, got to do it quick.
Hands up, Dustin. There's no cheating. Hands up.
No
That's
cheating.
it.
Hands are up.
Sorry.
Now watch segment in the upper right. You mentioned you remember me mentioning that it was going to simulate clicking on each of these values in that particular filter. It's selecting the state, and now we're done. Okay, so this test passed. You just saw everything successfully run, and what's going to happen is you notice I clicked on reports. And this is super, super powerful because in the report, I'm actually going to open this. We can see it in the tool, but you can also open it in your browser to get a little bit bigger view. And I'm going to do that right now. Okay, but you run through the results of everything we just did. And I agreed. So LinkedIn user says, wow, that's honest. I mean, Patrick, day one or day two, when we first started doing this together, when I was first exposed to the tool, I think you heard me say the same thing. We've got a first pass and second pass here. So we can see that each one of those tasks that ran actually was successful. So did the test pass? We've got greens for all of these. If it didn't, you'd see a red mark in here. But you also see, and this is something that would have been really powerful to me and my 10 years of being in the analytics world hands-on, you also see the amount of time that it took to execute each of these. And so, for example, as we were running through each of those, selecting each of those values in the filter, you see it took 1.9 seconds, 1.9 seconds, 1.6 seconds to set it all back to the original, all values selected, 1.6 seconds. It's a really good way to see, is there any issue taking place from a performance standpoint that might be a problem to the user's experience? I had managed hundreds of dashboards, if not thousands, that were being used. This is in a prior life, not at Wiiisdom, but that were being used by folks out, in remote locations outside of our headquarters, and common complaint that I would get is, hey, it's taking too long to load this particular value or set of values in the filter or whatever. I didn't have any automated testing in place. If I would have had Wiiisdom, I would have been able to see which ones were taking longer to be selected. So to me, that was really powerful as well.
I have a question for the audience today, and be honest, a lot of it is LinkedIn user. We don't see your name, so be honest here. How many of you have published a workbook, but you forgot to click select all on the filters? Right? You were testing your filters. You click on North America, and you clicked on USA. You click on Wisconsin or something, and you forgot to publish it back with all the filters reinitialized. It has to have happened to some of you. And this is the kind of things that Wiiisdom will pick for you automatically, for example.
Yep, for sure. And because we're, the scope of our event is to definitely highlight new release features. Do want to just comment on the fact that you're going to see, if you're a Wiiisdom user, you'll see this right now. You'll see it if you become a Wiiisdom user, but there's this new mark here next to post-process action. So this is a new tab that we've added, and that is one of the things we released at Tableau Conference 2023. So we have another LinkedIn user. I think this has to do with the security settings that they have set up. But they say lots of times, Danielle says, oh, yes, or changed a parameter. Kevin from Wiiisdom, it's happened to him several times too, but I know Kevin is one of the new folks. I'm sure he's talking about a former life there. Got a question. We will for sure address that, Adil, in a moment here. But did just want to point out that there's this post-process actions tab that we just released at Tableau Conference 2023. This was the first item in that list of 3 that I showed you that we released at Tableau Conference 2023. And this if you enable this feature, you can run a set of tests and then automatically Wiiisdom will certify the data source in Tableau if you, again, enable it. And then it'll send with it a certification message or a decertification message, which is displayed in the data source in Tableau as well. I'll show you that in a second. You obviously can select the data source path that you want to be certified. Now, you may not certify data sources just based upon user experience testing, as I showed in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you a very simple test on accuracy using a real kind of business use case. So let me show you the dashboard that we're going to do this accuracy test on. But before I do that, did just want to pull up one more comment from Lokesh. Says, this is cool, awesome features. Thank you so much. Let us know, if you have more feedback, you have questions. We're going to address those.
I love the comment from Grace. She literally said hands-free analysis. I love it.
Yes, for sure. Very cool. All right, let me open up. Let's go back to Tableau Cloud. I'm going to open up a very simple dashboard. So, honestly, I've done a lot of sales analytics in previous roles, and in every company I've worked for, there's always been, I would say, some stress around sales bonus calculations and making sure that they're accurate. And so it got me thinking, okay, well, let's do a simple example using Wiiisdom accuracy testing on a sales bonus calculation in a dashboard, because you've got some sensitivity here, right? Like, you want to make sure folks are paid the right amount and that they see the right amount that they're getting paid. And then you also, as a company, you want to make sure that the amounts you're paying for sales bonuses are the right amounts. You don't want to overpay, you don't want to underpay, things like this. So there's implications on all sides. And as a result, the accuracy from what I've seen of sales bonus calculations is something where there's always some stress and effort and resources put around, which rightfully so. But in this use case, I'll show you how you could use Wiiisdom and our accuracy testing functionality to test and validate the sales bonus calculations that appear in a dashboard. So what I have here is for generic companies, so sample company, we have a finance department that's got some sales trends and bonus payouts in there for 8 hypothetical sales reps down at the bottom: Christine, Donald, Eric, Jennifer, Ken, Robin, Sarah, and William. And then you've got their percentage of their sales that they will be getting as a bonus. And the top one is 4%. This company, we will say, caps bonus percentage payouts at 4%. And let's keep that in mind as we move over to Wiiisdom now and do some accuracy testing on this dashboard. So remember, we got 8 sales reps. Here's their names, and here's their bonus percentages. Okay, I'll just show you a simple example how we can do some testing on there. So when I went into Wiiisdom, I set this up in a very short period of time. An open viz task, open up my sales bonus dashboard. Here you can see the path where I've selected it. And then I set up some data rules. So fancy way of saying some things that I want to make sure are always the case in my dashboard. Okay. In this particular task, I'm wanting to make sure that as a company, if we always should have 4% or less as our sales bonus payout, that there are no values that are appearing in my sales bonus dashboard that are over 4%. So that's my first rule. Make sure what I just showed you in that column for bonus percentage of sales, make sure it's 4% or less. Okay. What I also added in is make sure, remember I said there was 8 sales reps, make sure there's always 8 sales reps in the list. Make sure we're not missing one. Make sure we didn't add some, old sales rep that wasn't supposed to be in there. Make sure it's always 8. And then also make sure that the names of our current sales reps always exist in there. So you can see I rattled off those names: Christine, Donald, Eric, etc. Make sure they always appear in there. I'm going to go ahead and run this test. Let's see if I can go hands-free mode again.
Hands-free. Oh, hell.
I got to touch the mouse to bring the browser over. I got 2 monitors. Okay, here we go. Hands up.
So now,
right, so doing the accuracy tests, we're running. Okay, we succeeded. All those criteria were met. I'm going to go into my report that just came here. I'm not going to open this one in browser, but we can see that it was able to open the viz in 4.2 seconds. It ran that first test, that calculation, make sure that there weren't any sales bonus percentages over 4%, make sure there was exactly 8 sales reps in there. And then it took 0.9 seconds to make sure that all the sales reps' names appeared in there. So very nice and neat and tidy loading of that dashboard and validation, and then you can see a copy of the results here. Now, one thing that's really cool is the copies of these reports get saved in a folder associated with your project that you're working on locally. So you'll have record of all of these tests passing. So if it's important to you to have documentation on the tests that you're running, that is also completely automated by using this tool.
Now, I have two questions, Dustin. Number one is, I use Slack or I use Teams. Can you send me these reports or the link of that report at least? You know, that question was not planned at all, Dustin. So question for you.
Right, for sure. And we do have a couple questions coming in, which is really good. Be sure to put your questions in the chat as you have them. I'll get to Patrick's in just a second. Also continue to introduce yourself if you have not, and do stay until the end. Sorry, I have to keep plugging this. We're going to do a giveaway at the end. Folks are still, I think, joining the meeting here. But you asked a great question. Okay, can I get these results automatically sent to me? So I'm going to switch over to our integration section here for a moment. And yes, we have a few different integrations here that you see. So one is email. So this one's pretty simple and straightforward. You know, you want to have an email sent to you on a successful test. Okay. We've got an integration for you to set that up. You can have a Slack message sent to you. Anything that uses webhooks. Here you go. You can have something
Google Chat, Jira for those of you who do
the
ICD stuff. Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
Now,
Rollbar. And we also have integration that I'm going to talk about in just 1 second as I touch on the dashboard that we released at Tableau conference. So this is a really fun one too. But before I do that, I do want to show you, to keep me honest here, I mentioned that I would talk about this post-process actions tab and actually show you what it looks like to certify a data source. So when you first open Wiiisdom, if you're using it today, you will see this and you will need to enable data source certification. Let's say that you own that sales bonus dashboard and you want to certify that data source. Once those data rules tests pass, you can enable it. It will be disabled by default. And then you will go in and select your data source path. So I'm going to open this right now. You see Wiiisdom's taking a look at all my data sources. I am going to go in and select my Superstore data source just for this sample. I'm going to click OK. And when that test passes, you're going to see the certification message get sent. Now, you can put in whatever you want in here. Patrick, I'm going to run this test again. We're going to certify the data source. Is there anything else you want me to send along with this?
If it's not, if it doesn't pass, what should we write?
Oh, okay.
Do we have here? Oh yeah, we did put something.
We need to put. It just says this data source has been decertified through automated testing.
I would say it's Scott's fault. It's usually Scott's fault.
Okay.
Can you put that? Scott is watching. He's working for us at the moment. Yeah.
Well, if it passes, we're going to say thank you to Danielle.
To Danielle. But if it doesn't work, it's
right.
Scott's fault. Excellent.
Yeah, we know Danielle always keeps things in good order here, so we'll thank her for it. If it doesn't, it's going to be Scott. Let's run this again, and then what I'm going to show you is actually I'm going to go back to. We've got lots of windows open here to show you as much as we can. I'm going to go to that data source, and we're going to show you it's certified right now. But let's show you what happens when the test passes and that new message gets sent. So let's run this again. I'm going to go hands-free. You know what? For the heck of it, why don't I bring the browser over one more time? Let's hammer the point home. Run in. I got to grab the browser from here. We go. Okay. Hands up. All right. Post-process action was enabled. The data source will be certified because I just enabled that. I'm going to go back to Tableau. I'm going to open that data source. Give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Danielle. You see the message was sent along with that certification. If I were to set up the test to fail, I'm not going to do that. We would have to be thanking Scott for the failure, but we're going to keep things positive. All right.
Dustin, just before you move to the dashboard, just a quick one for people watching. you said we have 8 sales rep, and then you spent, I don't know, some let's say you spend a minute writing their names 8 times, right? Tomorrow we have a new sales rep. What do we have to do? Does it mean I need to, tomorrow it's 9, next week it's 10, I have to, so do I have to keep maintaining manually, dynamically my tests, or is there a way I could make this a bit more dynamic?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so you could use, we have user-defined variables that you can use in the tool. When you have dynamic variables that you want to use, and you just insert those into the test.
Could I go to my HR database maybe, or sales database, and do a SQL, assert SQL?
Yeah, for sure. So there's lots of ways you can do things in Wiiisdom. It's very robust. But for sure. So from an assert SQL standpoint, this is actually one of our most popular features. So this is also under that umbrella of accuracy testing, right? So to Patrick's question, what we have here is, you saw the assert data rules that I was using, but here what we can do is, if we wanted to do a test to make sure that the results of a SQL query matched what was loaded, and the SQL query would be on our database, match what was loaded to a dashboard, we can use assert SQL equals. And so you can see that in this task, I have a SQL query. I can edit that, and I can actually, what's really cool is I can actually validate that SQL query. So if you have any questions about whether it's a valid SQL query, you can hit validate SQL, validate it, hit OK. We're also going to connect to our database that we run the SQL query against. Okay. You can test the connection in there, make sure it's good. Okay, my connection to this database is successful. Go ahead and run the test, and then it's going to validate again that the data in the dashboard matches the results of that SQL query. Same thing with the post-process actions. You can enable it here, select a data source, type in your certification or decertification messages, and then you get a report here. In this case, we had a failure on the assert SQL test. So there's something we got to look at. The data we have in our dashboard doesn't match the results of that SQL query. So that's worthy of investigation. Now, want to show you how this comes full circle. I mentioned, keep me honest here, there's an integration with Postgres. So we have this Postgres QL integration where you can actually, and we have a tutorial video out there. We actually have a tutorial video on all these new features that we're talking about. Tutorial video on how to set up Postgres and how to connect it to the dashboard that we've made available. So if you set up this integration and you set up you have Postgres, you can actually store all of these test results on all these tests that I'm running from Wiiisdom in that database. And then you can connect a Tableau dashboard like, let me pull it over here. Got multiple windows going here, so bear with me. Like this. This is one that we've made available. Of course, as Tableau developers yourselves, you can make your own. You could take mine, you could customize it, pull things out, put your own stuff in there, change the colors, all that kind of stuff. But the point is, you can connect your Wiiisdom testing data to a dashboard like this. And what I can then see is, here I'm trending, tests passed in green and fails in gray over time for functional and regression tests. If I click on, let's say, okay, here was a recent test failure yesterday, it looks like. Click on that one, I can see, okay, here's the view that was on. So it was on my KPI dashboard. I had a failure there. I click on the failure, and I can see, okay, that was with an assert filters equals task. Now, I can go into this dashboard. I can click here, and I have it set up with an open dashboard URL. As Tableau developers, you know how to do this stuff, put it into tooltips. But now I can open that dashboard, inspect what's going on with this filter, and address this issue proactively. I would venture a guess, you can tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but if you're monitoring a dashboard like this daily, hourly, whatever the cadence is, and you've got tests going daily, hourly, and we'll talk about scheduling in just a second, but when you can get ahead of things like this and see these right away, makes a huge difference with the trust factor with your user base. And the other thing is typically I found in my, own history as an analytics professional, you're not going to find out about stuff like that until days later. You get that angry call from an executive or a sales rep out in the field that's about to go in with that big customer. And they're like, hey, this filter's not working. Well, now their whole sales presentation is blown because they can't pull up the insights they wanted to, things like that. So it's all about keeping a proactive eye on what's going on and continuously testing so that you can proactively address problems. All right. I want to talk just real briefly as we're going to start to wind down and get to some of the questions here about scheduling. So I mentioned that, hey, if you're looking at this hourly, daily, whatever, you actually can indeed schedule these tests. So we have the schedule button for each test. You can click on it. You can copy what we have here into a scheduling tool of your choice. If you're using Windows, maybe Task Scheduler, whatever, you can have these tests run automatically on whatever cadence you want. Think about having your Postgres data updated, on a similar cadence and refreshing your dashboard that I just showed on a similar cadence, keeping an eye on that all the time. You can get some a really powerful process put together here in terms of the tests you have set up, scheduling them and automating that scheduling, bringing the data into Postgres, watching it on an administrative dashboard like what I put together. So just wanted to pull it full circle in terms of the capabilities there.
All right. So that was what we released for TC in Vegas. What's next? I'm just conscious of
yes, for sure. All right, I'm going to go what's next, and then I'm going to come back and show you one other test type in case you're doing a migration or upgrading Tableau or whatever. We'll show you that. I'm not going to run this one, but I am going to show you the report, the output of it. But let's go to this next slide as we wind down. So we have, I'm going to pull this up. Hang on one second. We have some new things coming out in just a few days, July 6th, when we release our 2023.3 version of Wiiisdom Ops for Tableau. What we are going to do here with these three things we're highlighting is, and this is a sneak preview, don't tell anybody that we're telling you this, but what we're going to be able to do is actually capture more data to enable more insights and dashboards like what I just showed you on the tests that you're running in Wiiisdom. We're going to be including data in the Postgres database on those post-process actions and data source certifications. So you can also keep a proactive eye in a Tableau dashboard on what's going on from a data source certification perspective. Is this data source being certified or decertified on a certain date? And what are the workbooks connected to it? And what are the implications? Things like that. So that's being added to the Postgres database. We also are going to be releasing an update that's going to allow you to use extra URL parameters regardless of the version of Tableau that you're on. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to switch over to the tool really quickly. I'm going to show you that when you select a viz in Wiiisdom, regardless of the version of Tableau that you're using, this used to be available only up to 2022.2, I believe. Now for 2022 and future releases, you'll be able to use this. If you select a view, you'll notice down here this extra URL parameters. This is really powerful stuff because now what you can do is set up functional regression testing. I was just showing you some examples of functional testing, the accuracy and user experience. You can do those same tests, but with the view pre-filtered to a certain value being selected or a parameter value being selected as well. And you can define what you want those to be. So let's say you wanted to do the tests on that KPI dashboard I showed earlier with the segment, equal to consumer. You can put that in here, and then now you can do all of your tests on that view, but with the consumer value selected in that filter segment. And you can combine, you could add another filter. You say you want it to be segment consumer and ship mode first class or whatever. And then you want to do all your tests on that. Really powerful stuff. This is available for functional and regression testing too, which I'm going to show you right now. I go to regression test. What this is all about, if you are doing a migration or a Tableau upgrade, or there's any event really at all coming up, or you're concerned that, something might happen with the data, something might happen in my dashboards when this event takes place that I want to know about, that's where you're going to want to use this regression test. It's really easy to set up. And what it does is it takes a snapshot of any dashboards you select before that event. So before that event that you're concerned about takes place, you take a snapshot of all your dashboards. After that event takes place, you run this again. And what Wiiisdom is going to do is show you what differences there are between the dashboard, the set of dashboards before the event and the set of dashboards after the event. Okay, if I click on reports, I'm not going to run this one, but I will show you what this looks like. If I open up the browser, I'll show you here. I ran a regression test on that Superstore KPI dashboard I showed earlier. And you can see, originally the dashboard looked like this. After I ran it, it looks like something got messed up in my dollars per customer. If I did a migration, maybe something happened to my data. Don't know. But this immediately told me I need to investigate what's going on in this dollars per customer calculation. We're looking at an image of the dashboard itself. We're looking at the data itself. You can see in the check data summary underneath here, it's showing me what the data looked like before and after. I can actually open up the data set beforehand and after and do some analysis on the differences. And then we're also doing some checks on the metadata as well. So there's 11 checks that the regression test is doing. Very useful if you're doing a migration or upgrade in particular.
So,
all right.
At the beginning, I said the problem was simple. You have a dashboard with wrong data and you don't want that. And you want to automate all sorts of testing. And Dustin covered a lot of what we can do today, and we can do a lot more. The user experience, the data in a dashboard, the report before and after a patch upgrade or migration on new servers or servers to Tableau Cloud. All of these kinds of Tableau operations, database migration, right? All of these things that can impact the result of a Tableau dashboard and the data which you base your decisions on, you want to test as often and as thoroughly as possible. And this is what we do here with Wiiisdom Ops.
Yep, for sure. And before I talk about the future vision we have for our roadmap beyond this next release, do you want to address a few questions, Patrick, that came up? So we have this first question from Agile, and actually we have the right guy for this question here. So yes, we're focusing on Wiiisdom Ops for Tableau here, but want to address this question from Adil. Can this be used for other than Tableau or any plan to expand to other BI products?
Absolutely. But first of all, I'll say hello to Adil because we know each other. Thank you for the question. And yes, we've been doing SAP Business Objects for a long time, which is where Adil and I met a long time ago. We do today for Tableau and watch the space after the summer for Power BI. So we are in a private preview right now. If you want to know more about it, give us a shout. But otherwise, after the summer, you'll hear a lot about the Power BI world as well. So sorry to say the word Power BI in a Tableau presentation, Dustin, but I'm only here to answer the question.
Yes. No, I can be forgiving of that one. No, it's a good question. So thank you for that, Patrick. We do have LinkedIn user. We don't know who they are, but we do have a question from them. I'll read it out. So, are these shared links through different apps a live feed? I'm curious if we can allow users to select filters and will not make permanent changes to the data.
That's okay. That's interesting question. So we're not saving the reports here, right? We're just opening as if we were a user. We're changing the filters as if we were a user. So we're simulating a user here, but that's not saved inside of Tableau. We're just acting as a consumer, as if it was a Tableau user here. So that's an interesting question, but no, we're not impacting. We're not making permanent changes. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome, cool. And Adil says thumbs up to your answer there. Also, Danielle was honored by the certification statement there. Okay, we do have another question from Terrell. Hey there, another analytics leader in the industry. So good to see you. I do know Terrell as well. So can you explain the support model, for example, if there's new tests I want to add or tests I want to remove? Is that something that we can do or the Wiiisdom team does? And then also, what are turnaround times on changes like that? Is there an account manager? Okay, so I'll take a start at this one, Patrick, and you can chime in as well. But so we have a customer success team and program, and so what we would do is, so you get the desktop application, and you absolutely can set up these tests on your own. It's a very user-friendly tool, no code, like Patrick said, so you don't have to know programming or anything like that. You drag and drop to set up the tests, but our customer support team is there to help you do this along the way. And so you have absolutely support available to you. You will get trained on the tool, all of these things, but it's it's the tool is all I can say is it's what I just showed you. You know, it's dragging and dropping, no code solution to set up these tests. And we're also here to help you think about the kinds of things that you should test for too. So it's, you know, it's two things, right? It's using the tool, yes, which is a no code solution, but then it's also thinking about in concept to what you want to test for. And our customer success team is happy to help you with that journey as well.
And I don't know if it's part of the question, but I think it's interesting. The designer interface Dustin used, it's available on PC and Mac, and the execution of the test, PC and Mac, of course, but Linux as well. And the installation is simply a zip that you unzip, right? You don't need to ask for a server if you don't want to. Maybe you want for automation purposes, right? But we have, you know, it's very simple to install and to manage. Nothing complicated here.
Okay, and so to wind it down, I'm going to spend 1 minute on this, and then the last 3 minutes we'll do the giveaway, and we will end exactly on time. So in the rest of 2023 and beyond, we're working on some big new things, and we would love your feedback. If there's things you think that we should be thinking about, please do let us know either in the comments here. By all means, reach out to myself, Patrick. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have coffee, lunch with you, even virtually, whatever. Love to hear from you. But what's on our radar right now is beyond this next release, okay? We want to give you the ability, and we're working on this right now, to test Tableau extracts. So, you know, today we have a few different categories. We have 4 categories of tests that you can do. We didn't even, believe it or not, we didn't even get into 2 out of the 4, but we only touched on the first 2. But we're going to give you a 5th where you can actually do testing on Tableau extracts. You know, something like, did this extract refresh within a certain amount of time, as an example. We are also going to expand our post-process actions so that you can certify content beyond just the data source level. And then we're also investing into Terrell's question earlier, customer success. So, you know, Michael Holcomb, our vice president of customer success, is working hard day and night to put together a best-in-class customer success team. And that is something that we indeed are working very heavily on. All right. So I promised I would do that in a minute. I think I held to it. What I'm going to do is pull over my StreamYard giveaway tool, which I honestly love this. This is always like one of the most fun parts of live events. But we're going to give away this book. We want you to be able to measure things in your business appropriately. That's why we're here, to help you trust those things. So we're going to give away this book, brand new book. And all you have to do to enter is type in hashtag analytics ops starting right now into the chat. So hashtag analytics ops, go ahead and enter it in, and I'll give you 2 minutes, and then we will draw.
Now, Dustin, I'm just looking at a previous message from Danielle. Again, the same Danielle. Thank you, Danielle. She says, I'm definitely interested in more ways to use the assert data rules. So Danielle, will thank you for being a good user of Wiiisdom Ops. We'll give you a shout after this event to organize some time to discuss what you have in mind. And if anybody else have ideas, suggestions, roadmap items, we're always keen to speak to our customers and future customers, right? People who would like to use this and maybe they want to know more about.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of interesting questions.
Wow, there's lots of analytics ops, Dustin.
There's lots of what?
Analytics ops, hashtag.
Yeah. Yep. So keep those coming. I'm going to give you 1 more minute. See, like Jeffrey's got it the right way here. Just type it into the chat, hashtag analytics ops. It's all you have to do, and we'll catch your entry. To Danielle's point, that's a very powerful piece of Wiiisdom's functionality. And one thing that I actually have on my own roadmap, we mentioned the tutorial videos and the playlist we have out there, is want to put together some tutorial videos around use cases of how you could use that and get into some of the depth of functionality around the data rules, because it's super, super powerful, almost unlimited permutations around how you can test a Tableau dashboard using that.
All right, we're on the dot. All
right, we're on the dot. Okay, so we're going to give it away. I'm going to hit draw, and someone is going to be the winner of this book. All right. Congratulations.
Congrats, Adil.
Please send me a message directly on LinkedIn, or if you know Patrick, reach out to him. We'll get your information and we will get this book delivered to you. Congrats. Thanks again, everyone, for attending. And we'll talk to you very soon.
Next quarter, we'll do the same again. Dustin, thanks for organizing. It was awesome. And please get in touch, comments, feedbacks. Would like to do this again, informally like that next time. So take care, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.